Alrighty then, so we're heading to Collierville. I've got 5 packages. Made $50, $10 per package. And then I can clock in right at 5 o'clock. Have like, probably be 4:30 by the time I get done. Good to go. I think one out of all of us got that $72 one. The rest of us got the 54. I don't know. Oh man. I wonder how tomorrow's gonna look. I hope I got one for tomorrow. Sure is empty. Okay, so we're talking about how it's just so much stuff can get past me. So I mean, yeah. So there's what all the, you know, it's always secondhand. If I could tell you exactly how I feel about, I mean, what it is that I know, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because everything is always force-fed to me or spoon-fed to me. So I really don't have any of my own knowledge. It's always, like I said, secondhand. No matter what, that might be the one thing that I've got, is that I know that. I know that I don't know anything. I mean, me personally, I don't know how things work. Not at all. And I suspect that for everything. I think any and everything that exists comes from a place of ignorance. I mean, sure, you have understanding, but when it gets down to it, we're all kind of just trying to figure everything out as we go. That makes us have humility. And I don't care how isolated you are, or isolated you make yourself. You always have to relate. There's always something that you have to accomplish. There's always something that has to be remembered. Alrighty, so this Earth, so you get these numbers, 0 being like, and that's where I have a lot of troubles in history. For me, it seems more realistic to believe that history is not linear, meaning that it's, I guess it is linear in a sense that, like a group of people got together and said, this is what it is today, and then tomorrow is going to be this, and then after that it's going to be that, and so that basically labels every day. But that's only particular to that group of people that made that agreement, and that goes to all timelines. That it's always an agreement. It might not have been welcomed, but eventually you got to the point where it was the same thing. And so yeah, there is linear time, but on the grander scheme of things, that kind of system is it overlaps. So you have groups of people that say it's 2018, and you have people that say that's 7018, and you have people that say it's 1,000,018, and those same people are ignorant. At the end of the day, dumb. And that relates to the idea that you have kings, and then you have people that live in huts. They both are born, and they both are put in a position to have to experience that life. And yeah, there are things that are going to hinder them to experience other things, but I don't know. I want to say there's. See, and that's another thing too, is that you have, like I say, all these trillions of animals, other creatures that are being put in these, like, born in cages, surrounded by themselves in terrible conditions, and then get slaughtered, and that's if they even make it to slaughter, and that's every day, billions of animals every day, billions, and we're the ones doing it. It's only because there are people that are in situations that have absolutely no other choice. They're literally living in ice year round, and they don't have vegetation. They have animals. That is their vegetation. But at the other extreme, you have people that have vegetation year round, and that's their vegetation, is vegetation. So you have the extremes that have to balance one another out, and that's why we have the system we do, is because of the extremes. And it's only a matter of time that people get the understanding, and it's not guaranteed, because what is there? It goes back to money's not going to have value if people don't need it. If you give everybody money, and then money is just everywhere and everyone has it, then money doesn't have value. It takes the value out of the money. So the lack of money is the actual value of money. So when you don't have money and you need it because you don't have money, that's what makes money valuable. And so there's no way that we could ever have enough money, because that totally takes away. Because once you have enough money, then that makes money not viable, because then you have it. If you have something you need, then you have it. There's no need for it, because your need has been met. But it's a tool, and it's not an all-in. It's not the necessity of life. Money is a tool. So yeah, you do need tools to live, but not all tools are necessary. And that's where we're at. We're in this position that money, we need to use money as a tool and not as all there is. There's endless amount of ways to exist, to make life better, and having money doesn't always do that, and not having money doesn't always do that either. So yeah, and any and every time that I have some kind of like downtime and I feel upset or something's going wrong in life, and I feel frustrated and all these things, for me, I always remind myself that we live on a speck of dust in an ocean. We barely even exist, and so being that, anything's possible. All things are possible constantly. soon as one opportunity is passed up, there's one right beside it. It's just all that missed possibility is just an alarm to let you know, hey, there's possibilities. I'm just letting you know, hey, there's something going on. And that's half the battle, is not knowing. I mean, that's why I was talking to my brother about Philip. If you don't know, then how are you going to fix if you don't even know it needs fixed? How do you even know it even exists if it's not broken first, or it doesn't work? So if something's not working and you don't know it, then how are you going to fix it? And that's half the battle. But once you know it and don't fix it, it's only a matter of time that you're going to have to fix it or do something else where you don't need it. And that's how it works. You got to find out first. And that's the big thing. That's the majority. That's how, at the bottom of it, at the end of it all, that's what it is. We just don't know. And of course, there are things that we do know, but that's only after the fact of not knowing that he didn't know. Taking time and space for granted is a huge situation, being that I cannot recall the last few minutes. I cannot recall hours ago. I could get a general sense of the moment, but word for word, thought for thought, impossible. I say it's an impossibility, but there's people supposedly that do it all the time. It might be only a handful, and I'm sitting here recalling these ideas. I do have some sort of memory, but it's just a different kind. I just feel like I'm missing an opportunity to be able to be more. What the word is, more functioning, more responsible. I'm missing opportunity to be more responsible, and being able to recall word for word every moment of your life, being able to remember every little detail would be amazing, and it shouldn't be impossible. It should be something doable. And that's one of those broken things, and knowing. I know that I do not know what happened before. I know that. Word for word, moment for moment, I know these things that I don't know. I know that I don't know these things. And that's a problem. And it needs it. And if there was a way to fix it, I would do what I knew. That's the next big step, is finding a way to be able to do those things, to be able to recall absolutely every little minute detail of my life. It's a possibility. I mean, if you can imagine, you can make it real. I would suspect any and all things that ever is being thought of, there is a reality to that. some sort of variant of that. Like I say, I do have recall. I do remember ideas, but fine details, that's the issue. And I think that's obvious. I'm not the only one. I'm fairly positive the majority of us have the exact same scenario happening, and that's where having to write things down and having schedule books and having cell phones and all this is because we don't have that kind of a memory. The majority of us don't. Hopefully we can get to that point one of these days to where we can. It just seems to me like a missing part of myself. And I'm pantheist. Being a pantheist is a religion. I was a Southern Baptist, and I had great times there, but then again, at the same time, I just didn't feel comfortable. I guess they weren't comfortable with me, or I wasn't comfortable with them. But it was just because I was following my big brother. I just followed him around. I did whatever he was doing, and he just so happened to go to this church. And but we grew out of it, and we moved on, and they moved, we moved, and it just we didn't keep up with one another. And instead of just going to another church, I just gave up to the idea that, you know what, there's too many religions on this planet, and I hate to think that there's a loose end, I guess. I'd hate to think there's such thing as, the idea of being incomplete, and like me not having the ability to remember, but having a title or a way to I don't know, give it a meaning, and that would be that pantheism is the idea that God is all things. So even though I don't know these things, how to remember exactly all the things that happen, that's just, God is all those things. So the good, the bad, the indifferent, everything that happens and everything that is that. And that's what pantheism is.